Ironsmith Coffee originally was myself and my original business partner, and he's a welder by trade. The thing that attracted us together as friends was that we both like to build things. We both had this sort of attraction to just creating. Once we started talking about building a coffee shop, we knew we were going to build the entire place ourselves, or at least the majority of it, as much as we could without licensed trades. The original name was actually Blacksmith Coffee Roasters. And this is not the most romantic story on why we didn't use that name. It was already used. We had to sort of find synonyms to blacksmith, someone that takes something from nothing and then creates it. So that was the play on words. My name is Matt DeLarosa. I'm the owner and founder of Ironsmith Coffee Roasters in Encinitas, California. The passion for coffee originally came from actually while I was in the Marine Corps. I spent time in the Marine Corps, and coffee in the military is ubiquitous. At that point on, after I left the military, I started making coffee at home. And so the passion for coffee just came from home brewing. And then from that point, I decided I wanted to learn how to roast, and I started roasting coffee. So that's really how it happened. It was the military, and it drove me into my personal life. I fell in love with roasting specifically when I visited a shop in Santa Barbara. And that coffee shop is still there. It's called Handlebar Coffee Roasters. And what I found special about it is when I went into that coffee shop, the owner of the coffee shop was roasting coffee. People were coming in and he knew everyone by name. They knew him by name. And so from that moment on, I knew I wanted to roast coffee too, because I thought it was so cool that he was doing this process and it was like this community thing. So the process of coffee roasting is, it can be very simple, or you can make it as complicated as you want. And I choose to do the complicated side, where you get really technical, use computer software. You can roast coffee, you can roast it as well as you'd love to, but if the quality of the coffee from the very beginning is low, you can only do so much with it. The process of roasting coffee really starts with sourcing good coffee. So once you source good coffee, and there's a lot of metrics you can use to identify what makes good coffee good. So once you get through those processes, and it's different for everyone. Everyone has like a little bit of a different process. The way it works is you put green coffee, which is raw coffee, you put it into a roaster. Once that's heating up the coffee, it starts to go through a chemical reaction really, and sugars start to develop. It starts to produce different flavors that you wouldn't have tasted if you just ate that seed raw. During that process, which can take anywhere between 8 to 12 minutes is a typical time frame of roasting coffee. And it's really up to the roaster to decide when they're gonna be done with that. Then they dump it out of the roaster and cool it down as quick as possible. Kind of like cooking steak. If you eat meat, if you're trying to target like a medium rare, you gotta get it off the heat and basically cool it down, otherwise it keeps cooking. As a coffee roaster, I want to be as close and intimate with the product that we're using that generates the bulk of our revenue. I mean, this is the fundamentals, the fabric of our business. Direct trade is really the best way to get high quality coffee, because it really circumnavigates the commodity market. Because if I'm going directly to a farmer and saying, I will pay X amount for this, regardless of what the market says coffee should be paid for, I can help hopefully pay more for that coffee. That farmer has been incentivized to do it again year after year, if not get better and better and better at doing that. Trying to find a name is interesting. So our top selling coffee is called Problem Solver. So the Problem Solver was really developed because what I wanted to do was find a coffee that's somewhere in the middle. It wasn't necessarily the most expensive coffee, but it wasn't also the cheapest coffee that we had. It's something that I feel like everyone can enjoy regardless of your experience in tasting coffee. It's not so unique and fruity and acidic, or it's not too flat. It's right there. So that's the Problem Solver. And the other one we have on the shelf is the 3546, and that one's our newest coffee, and that's actually from the Congo. And 3546 is the number of women who own their farms that harvested that coffee. My vision for Ironsmith has changed from time to time. When I first started, I thought, it was gonna be something different from what it is now. I really did. And I think starting a business, you just wanna go and you just wanna, make sure you're not sinking. You just wanna survive. So I've realized now after 6 years, my vision for Ironsmith is to stay small, to stay a single shop. I really really enjoy being a small single shop that is only found in Encinitas.